UFC Fight Night London, Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady just ended, and this is going to be my full card post-fight. And what a barn burner of a card this was. Every single fight on the card was essentially Jiří Procházka versus Glover Teixeira. I mean, it was banger after banger. Every single fight on the card should have got fight of the night. That's how good this card was. Okay, I'm exaggerating. There was a couple fights on this card that absolutely stunk the place up. Then the fights that we were looking forward to were kind of dominations, like the main event. Leon Edwards getting dominated by Sean Brady, getting dumped on his bald spot again. But I'm going to break down every single fight on this card. Do me a favor if you enjoy these videos. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right, let's jump right into it. First fight of the night, we have Kutateladze versus Kauê Fernandes. Fernandes beat him like he owed him money. I mean, it was utter destruction by Fernandes. I can't believe I watched Gunnar get beat this badly. I'm not even kidding. This is not an exaggeration. You could give Fernandes every single round a 10-8 round. The first round, Fernandes chopping his legs, tagging him on the feet, hurting him, stuffing the takedowns, dropped him with a head kick, almost finished him there, and just destroyed his calf. The second round, he dropped him with a leg kick while Gunar's standing in the orthodox position, okay? So just so you know, he's standing in the orthodox position, fighting right-handed, right-hand dominant. He gets dropped with leg kicks, okay? Getting absolutely destroyed. Fernandes jumps on top of him, looks for a finish, just ground and pound and bloodies him up. Gunnar eventually gets up, gets hurt with a right hand later in the second round as well, and then got taken down late in the second round with ease by Fernandes. Third round, he's getting outstruck some more, getting dominated. And since he got dropped in the second round, he's now fighting out of southpaw, and Fernandes has been battering his leg. And batters his leg so badly, he drops him again with leg kicks on the opposite leg. So now both of his legs are absolutely destroyed. Fernandes then proceeds to stand over top of him, just kicking his legs, Cowboy Cerrone Miles Jury style. If you're an OG, you know what I'm talking about. Eventually, Kutateladze, seems like he's desperate. It must hurt badly. Eventually gets up and gets destroyed more on the feet by Fernandes. I believe that's what happened at the end of the round. Fernandes dominated him. I think one judge had it 30-26. I wouldn't have a problem if you scored it 30-24. Fernandes completely outclassed him, completely dominated him, completely shut him down in this fight. Gunnar was massively overrated by a lot of people, including myself. Fernandes actually looks like a decent prospect. And I'm not just elevating him off a win over Gunnar. I just think he looked really, really slick in this fight. And if his grappling defense, his takedown defense can improve, he's going to be tough for a lot of guys on the feet. So I think this was kind of his coming out party. He absolutely destroyed Gunnar, dominated Gunnar, and wins via unanimous decision. Next fight on the card, we have Nathan Fletcher versus Kauê Loughran. Loughran wins via split decision. It was a close fight. First round was close on the feet. Fletcher was landing some good leg kicks. Loughran got a takedown here or there, but really didn't do much with it. Landed some shots in the clinch. And I just think it was kind of even on the feet, and Loughran was able to get him down a couple times, and that's really what differentiated the first round for me. I thought Loughran took the first round, even though it could have went either way. Second round, I think, was the clearest round of the fight. Fletcher got an early takedown, got his back. At one point was like Loughran was standing with Fletcher on his back, and Fletcher was landing some good shots to the head, even ripping to the body as well. Eventually let go of the body triangle because I guess his legs were getting tired. And nothing really super eventful happened after that. It was later in the round. So Fletcher clearly took round two. Round three is where it gets a little bit weird because Loughran was clearly winning round three. Not dominantly, but not a whole lot was happening. And Loughran was shooting takedowns, taking him down. Fletcher was scrambled back up, but he would get some control time, get beat up a little bit in the clinch with knees. In the last 45 seconds, Fletcher landed some knees in the clinch, and then there was a nasty elbow that hurt Loughran. Then they both started swinging wild. Fletcher got the better of the exchange. I think Loughran was a bit wobbled. And there was a spinning elbow and a big right hand as well at the very end. And I thought Fletcher stole the third round. Even though he was losing the majority of it, he did a lot of damage and hurt him at the end of the third round. So I had it 29-28 for Nathan Fletcher. Do I think it's a horrible decision? No, because you could give 1 and 3 to Loughran. Honestly, you could give 1, 2, and 3 to Fletcher. I think 1 would be a bit of a stretch. But either way, Loughran at least was able to do more, be more active than he was in previous fights. I didn't pick him because all he does is squat down and throw the right hand. So this time, at least he was working some knees in the clinch. He was throwing some combinations. He was getting his legs chopped up, but it didn't seem to affect him too much. And this was a very close, hard-fought fight that Loughran got the split decision win. Wouldn't have hated to see it go either way, but it wasn't a robbery by any means. Next fight on the card, we have Shauna Bannon versus Puja Tomar. This was a hilarious fight. Shauna Bannon wins via second-round armbar. Tomar landed a head kick in the first round, similar to the one she lands in the second round, which we'll get to in a second. First round, Bannon kind of landing more volume, doing this weird, flamingo, jumping, skipping side kick where she can have the option to throw an oblique, a side kick to the body, or a side kick to the head, and just outstruck her in the first round. Had some clinch work, did a little bit of damage there. And basically, the whole first round was Shauna Bannon just hopping on her leg, weirdly throwing side kicks. Second round, she was doing the same, but she had this crazy flurry where she was rushing in sloppily. Didn't really land a whole lot, but still was able to do it. Then Tomar literally lands a picture-perfect head kick that, in my opinion, flash KO'd Shauna Bannon. She was out. It could have been stopped from the head kick on. Then Tomar proceeds to start landing brutal ground and pound shots. I swear on my life, she might have flash KO'd Shauna Bannon 3 times. Referee's just looking over. I'm like, okay, he's going to stop it. Okay, he's going to stop. It was getting on borderline of a late stoppage. Then Tomar just settles in. I guess she was worried about gassing herself out, or maybe Bannon had come back to life enough where she was grabbing her and holding her. And Bannon starts setting up an armbar. Now, Tomar has this grip defending the armbar. She's got pressure. She's defending. And then all of a sudden, instead of holding onto this grip, she just lets go of this grip, post up on this hand, and just kind of leans into the arm. It's like she put herself in the armbar. I don't remember what fight it was. It was Molly McCann. I think it was against Julia Stolarenko where she jumps into the armbar. Essentially, that's what Tomar did. A little bit different circumstances. And Shauna Bannon taps her with an armbar in the second round. It went from KO by Tomar, KO win in the second round, to armbar by Bannon. Crazy comeback win by Shauna Bannon. What is with these women's MMA fighters getting finishes lately? But yeah, Tomar, super low IQ. She had the finish, and instead she ends up getting armbarred. That has to be heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. And I mean, it literally could have been stopped. The ref could have jumped in at any time. Nobody would have criticized at all. The ref gave Bannon extra time. Bannon was able to find the armbar, so good win on her in the second round. Next fight on the card, we have Christian Leroy Duncan versus Andrey Pulyaev. Christian Leroy Duncan wins via unanimous decision. Outstruck him every single round, literally dominated him, outworked him in the clinch. He would back him up against the fence, tag him with good shots, work him over in the clinch. Second round, spinning elbow, landed a left hand, was walking him down, beating him up. Third round was the most interesting moment of the fight. The majority of the third round was exactly like 1 and 2, where Christian Leroy Duncan imposing his will up against the fence, outstriking him when they are at range, and walking him down, beating him up, just has the way better striking. Pulyaev did okay, sometimes reversing position in the clinch, but really didn't do anything with it. And then in the last 10 seconds of the third round, Christian Leroy Duncan lands a nasty standing elbow that rocks Andrey Pulyaev and then goes after him looking for the finish. He would have got finished, and he was saved by the bell. He was just about to get stopped. I mean, he was getting absolutely destroyed up against the fence. There was knees. He was landing combinations. He was about to melt him. Bigfoot Silva, Bigfoot Silva, Alistair Overeem style. And the bell saved him. So Christian Leroy Duncan absolutely destroyed him. 30-27 victory. I think that's what all the judges had it. I mean, maybe there was a 30-26. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of with the Gunnar fight. Maybe I'm mixing up scorecards. But you could give Duncan 10-8, potentially third round if you're being a little bit more liberal with your 10-8s. But Christian Leroy Duncan wins via unanimous decision. Next fight on the card, NPC heavyweight versus NPC heavyweight, Marcin Tybura versus Mick Parkin. This was a close fight, and it was a unanimous decision win for Tybura. I actually was watching this fight as I was setting up my stream and everything, and I wasn't paying close attention, so I had the pleasure of going back and rewatching it so I could give you an actual, somewhat smart analysis of this fight. I thought Parkin won. I thought he won the fight. First round, was landing some good kicks, was landing some good shots. Marcin Tybura was landing some good kicks. Some unorthodox, kind of wading forward like a total NPC shit heavyweight, landed some body kicks, but I thought Parkin was landing the better shots. And then late, Tybura got a takedown. That's probably what won him the first round. It was close. I thought Parkin landed the better shots in the first round, therefore had the first round. Second round, Parkin was able to get a takedown. He started throwing like nasty hammer fists, but I think he kind of overexerted himself because a lot of them were being blocked, but he was landing some of them as well, but he probably threw 30 of them for a heavyweight. That's a full 3 rounds of cardio right there. Tybura eventually scrambled up. I think he ended up getting taken back down, but the second round was clearly Parkin. There's no debate about that. Third round was pretty shitty, but it seemed like Parkin was just exhausted from throwing those 30 hammer fists in the second round. And I thought Tybura was just a little bit more active in the third round. So I had 1 and 2 for Mick Parkin, round 3 for Tybura. I'm guessing, I didn't look at the scorecards. I'm guessing they scored rounds 1 and round 3 for Tybura. There's no way they would give Tybura round 2. But at the end of the day, I got to be honest with you guys. You know, I don't like bad decisions at all, but was this a robbery? I don't know if it's a robbery. And also, I don't care. The heavyweight division sucks. You know, the heavyweight division might as well be women's featherweight at this point, which doesn't exist anymore. The heavyweight division outside of Aspinall and Jones is complete garbage. I mean, I literally have a better physique than Marcin Tybura. We have an issue here, okay? And both of them, neither of these guys look great at all. So neither one of them is going anywhere. Have them fight every other weekend. I don't care. Just put them on the prelims. Just make sure they're on the prelims. So Marcin Tybura, the guy who absolutely destroyed Taco Bell Tuivasa, gets another win against Mick Parkin and takes his undefeated record. Next fight on the card, we have Looney Kavanagh versus Felipe dos Santos. I don't even remember if I'm pronouncing his name right. First round, I had Santos winning. Santos hurt him with a right hand early, was landing some good kicks, was outstriking him. He got cut with a spinning elbow late, and then Kavanagh got a late takedown, but Santos got right back up. I thought first round clearly went to Dos Santos. After that, Kavanagh was just winning the fight. He won the second and third round. Hurt him early in the second round with punches, took him down, controlled him basically for the entire round. Dos Santos was throwing some elbows off the bottom, and it's not like Kavanagh was absolutely destroying him with ground and pound. But towards the end of the second round, Dos Santos was bleeding pretty significantly. Kavanagh got the Dagestani handcuff, did some decent damage up against the fence. And then the third round, Kavanagh shot a takedown, took him down, controlled Dos Santos for the majority of the third round. Dos Santos had some moments where he was throwing some illegal up kicks and some illegal elbows to the spine. But what drove me nuts is when Dos Santos was actually doing illegal shots, the ref wasn't saying anything. And then Dos Santos started throwing up kicks to like the shoulders, because you can still do that. And the ref starts yelling at him. And then when he was throwing elbows, the elbows were dangerously close to the spine, but they were more to the ribs. And even if you want to say even if you fundamentally disagree with me and you say he was committing those fouls, the biggest problem I have, and I've been saying this for literally years and there's been no improvement, is the referee's job to enforce the rules, or is it to just shout the rules over and over and over again? At this point, I would have no problem with the refs just shutting the fuck up, waiting for a foul, stopping the fight. That's going to be a point deduction. Waiting for a foul. Stop. I don't need to hear you say, oh, he's up, he's grounded. Oh, watch the eye pokes, watch the illegal knees, watch the illegal up kicks, watch the eye pokes, watch the groin shots. If you got those fingers out again, we're going to have to talk about that, old Herb Dean. But yeah, Kavanagh gets it done. I had it 29-28. He gets a win via unanimous decision. Next fight on the card. Oh, goodness, don't remind me. We have Jai Herbert versus Chris Padilla. Just wondering where the paper boy is. Wondering when he's going to come by and bring me some good news. This fight was so bad, we were talking about Herbert the pervert. Okay? That's how bad this fight was. This fight was absolute dog shit. Padilla was pulling an Alex Pereira and circling and essentially doing nothing. Herbert was kind of, doing a little bit more, but Padilla was landing, occasionally and like clinching up, and he clinched up for like the last 30 seconds of the first round. So I scored the first round for Padilla, but it could have went either way. Herbert could have got it off the leg kicks. Second round was complete dog shit. I don't even know what to say. I think Herbert landed a head kick in the second round, but it's not like he was rocked. And then Padilla clinched a little bit. The ref was complaining for them to fight. And then the third round, still the same thing. There was a knee that I think landed. They didn't show the replay. There was a knee that cut open Chris Padilla late in the fight. And then Padilla landed an elbow that rocked Herbert. And that was basically the most eventful moment of the fight. I thought Padilla won, but to be honest, the way he fought, I was hoping he would get robbed. And it wouldn't even been a robbery because nothing happened the entire fight outside the third round, where Padilla got cut and then landed a good elbow that kind of stumbled Herbert. But then Herbert really recovered really quickly. It's not like he got dropped badly or anything. I don't even ever want to remember this fight. And if it's up to me, kick them both out of the UFC. Like, I'm tired of guys like Sean Strickland and Alex Pereira setting the precedent. Let's run around the cage and do absolutely nothing, but maybe throw a couple leg kicks and a couple jabs for the entire fight and actually get a win off of that. It's embarrassing. So I'm tired of these guys ruining the sport. Okay, that's a bit satirical, but you guys get my point. Chris Padilla gets the split decision win. I wish he would have lost because of the way he fought. At least Herbert was moving forward. But get rid of both of them. I mean, they were stinking up the card. I was embarrassed to watch this. I was disgusted to be an MMA fan. And yeah, that's about it for that fight. Next fight on the card. Opening up the main card, we have Nathaniel Wood versus Morgan Charrière. Nathaniel Wood gets it done via unanimous decision. I thought he won every single round. Fight wasn't great. First round was decent. Wood hurt him with a punch. Looked to ground and pound, finished him. Looked to ground and pound, finish him. Eventually starts looking for a guillotine. Ended up on bottom. Then starts looking for a triangle. Charrière did a little bit of damage towards the end, but really didn't do much and ate an up kick. I still had, obviously, round one. He hurt him badly. I had it for Wood. Wood was outlanding him in the second round. Charrière was clinching, landed some elbows, but I still thought Wood outstruck him in the second round. And then the third round was just second and third round were horrific, man. I mean, they really stunk up the place bad. Third round was horrible. Wood was outstriking him. Charrière was doing absolutely nothing. And then what drove me nuts, and I actually took a note of this, okay? I took a note of this. Nothing drives me more insane than when guys don't really fight and they're losing a fight, and in the last 5 seconds, they want to act like macho man. Okay? They want to act like a macho man, like an alpha male. Remind you of anyone from the middleweight division who will not be named, beta male, soy boy? Charrière did that in the last 5 seconds. All of a sudden, he explodes with all this energy that he didn't have the entire fight, that he lost all 3 fucking rounds. So, embarrassing third round, embarrassing last 5 seconds. I'm going to be honest, this fight was garbage. Outside the first round, it was really, really bad. Charrière, not even remotely close to as good of a striker as maybe I thought he was. And Nathaniel Wood, he didn't even have like a crazy output. And he was really tired in the third round. And just all I can remember from this fight, second and third round were horrible. But I had the 30-27 for Nathaniel Wood. He gets it done over Morgan Charrière. Next fight on the card, we have Jordan Vucenic versus Chris Duncan. Talk about low IQ. Talk about low IQ. We get Chris Duncan, who wins via second round guillotine. First round, Duncan hurt him bad, landed a body kick in the right hand, looked for the guillotine there, then stayed on top, picked him up, dumped him on his bald spot when he tried to get up against the fence. 10-9 Duncan first round. Second round, Duncan was grappling early and winning early, but then all of a sudden he backed out because he was tired. You could tell all of a sudden he just disengaged the grappling, was completely exhausted, and Vucenic just starts tagging him on the feet. Then out of nowhere, Vucenic shoots a sloppy, ugly, disgraceful takedown from halfway across the cage, gets stuffed, gets flattened out for a second as Duncan looks for a guillotine, eventually scrambles out of that position, that horrible position, after that super low IQ, fight IQ moment, and then he starts winning on the feet again. He's tagging Duncan up. Then he says, you know what? I just caught this body kick. Let me shoot another sloppy double leg takedown right into a guillotine. And that's exactly what he did. That is exactly what he did. He shot a sloppy double leg into a guillotine. Chris Duncan chokes him out in the second round. Vucenic lost to Gunnar, who got outclassed by Fernandes on the first fight of the night. Get rid of Vucenic at this point. I mean, it was such a low IQ move. He was winning on the feet against a guy who wants to grapple. This guy wants to grapple. He's tired. He disengaged from the grappling. And now you're giving him the best possible position in grappling because he likes the guillotine. You're going to shoot recklessly and sloppily right into his guillotine like a complete and utter bum. So good win for Chris Duncan. Vucenic loses, embarrassed himself, could have won this fight, and good on Chris Duncan for getting it done via second round guillotine. Next fight on the card, we have Molly McCann versus Alexia Thainara. Molly McCann gets submitted in the first round with absolute ease. Rear naked choke. Basically got taken down immediately, had nothing to offer. I mean, it wasn't immediately, but basically got taken down very early, got beaten up, and eventually gives up her back and gets choked out. Thainara, oh my God, I just remembered. Thainara had the most cringy, awkward walkout I have ever seen in my entire life. She was so slow and enjoying the clout from being in an arena so much that they literally started Molly McCann's walkout before Alexia Thainara was in the cage. That is how long she took to walk out with these cringy. I was embarrassed to be an MMA fan. Like, imagine you invite the boys over to watch the main card and you watching that. I felt secondhand embarrassment. And I'm all for her having fun and whatnot. But man, some of these people just really love their 15 minutes of fame. Mike Beltran, the referee, is one of them. He loves to be on camera. So does Mark Smith. But she gets it done. She had somewhat long post-fight interview, which I called from the jump before she even won the fight. Molly McCann retires in the cage. Been in the UFC for 10 years. Never improved her takedown defense. Never improved her jiu-jitsu. I'm pretty sure she's just playing touch butt in the park with Patty Pimlet for all her training. So I'm glad that she retired. And Thainara gets it done via first round sub. Met literally no resistance. Next fight on the card. The featured fight on the card. The fight that pissed me off most. Gunnar Nelson versus Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland won. And we're going to go through it round by round here in a second because this was actually an eventful fight. This was not an impressive performance. People are acting like, oh man, Kevin Holland's super impressive. He beat Gunnar Nelson after a 2-year layoff, and Gunnar Nelson hasn't beaten anyone good ever in the history of the sport. He was just a Conor McGregor groupie. Okay? First round, Gunnar Nelson, easy takedown after some leg kicks from Holland. Weird omoplata attempt from Kevin Holland. Gunnar Nelson's carrying him like a purse. Eventually gets on top. Holland's throwing some shots from bottom. Gunnar Nelson lands a couple elbows from top position. Gunnar Nelson's clearly going to win the first round. No doubt about it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The last 10 seconds, he lets Kevin Holland up. It's like he was trying to do a little bit more damage. He allowed Holland to scramble up because he knew it was close to the end of the round. Holland hurts him with a right hand, drops him badly, starts following up with ground and pound shots, almost getting the finish, and throws a nasty right hand after the bell. He threw it after the bell. He loaded up the shot after the bell. Now, it was close, so I'm not saying he 100% did it intentionally, but Gunnar Nelson was brutalized in that first round, and I don't think that last shot really helped him, okay, to be quite honest. And after that, it was like Gunnar Nelson was just not completely himself. Now, the second round, Gunnar Nelson was grappling the entire round, was shooting takedowns, eventually got him down after like a minute or two. Kevin Holland's like staying up, landed some elbows to the side of the head. Some of them were to the back of the head. Eventually got the takedown, didn't really do a whole lot of damage, and Kevin Holland was throwing from bottom. So it was like Gunnar was just like it's like he was just out on the ground. Even though he was there, he was out, and Holland still couldn't get up, and all he did was throw elbows from the bottom. Now, I gave Kevin Holland round 2, so I gave Kevin Holland round 1 and round 2, so I already had Kevin Holland win the fight. Then the third round, Gunnar Nelson easily gets a takedown right in a full mount. But Holland pushed off the fence, scrambled out, has toes in the fence multiple times, multiple back of the head shots throughout this fight. And eventually Gunnar Nelson just ends up in a good position. Kevin Holland's looking to scramble, ends up almost getting arm triangled. And I say that loosely, but there was a moment where I thought Gunnar Nelson was going to get the arm triangle. Eventually, Holland gets up late, lands a couple knees in the clinch. Both guys kind of landing in the clinch. I had third round for Gunnar Nelson. I thought the judges might do 2 and 3 to Gunnar Nelson, but to be honest, Kevin Holland was the right guy. He should have got the decision win. But man, I'm so tired of commentary just dick riding Kevin Holland and just sucking him off. And I seen Ariel post some clip of his post-fight show, like super impressive win from Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland literally shows up for paychecks. He's not good at all. A win over Gunnar Nelson doesn't even mean that much. And if he doesn't get rocked in the first round, Gunnar Nelson literally dominates him in the grappling. Dominates him in the grappling and wins 30-27. He doesn't get rocked in the first round. And I know that with all my heart. So now people are like, man, give Kevin Holland a big fight at 170. What? I thought Kevin Holland might quit in the middle of this fight like he does in every other fight. You know, against Kutateladze or against Wonderboy Thompson, a 42-year-old Wonderboy Thompson, 45-year-old Wonderboy Thompson. Okay, that's an exaggeration. We got to stop acting like Kevin Holland's good. That's one of the worst narratives in the entire sport. This dude wouldn't even be champ in GFL. This dude wouldn't even be champ in PFL. So stop acting like a win over Gunnar Nelson, where he cheated profusely, by the way, was some type of great win when it was a super competitive fight, even after He was literally completely out and probably doesn't remember 1 second of the fight. Okay, so let's not act like it's an impressive win. It was not by Kevin Holland. Next fight on the card, we have Jan Błachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg. You know what, actually? Gunnar Nelson, Kevin Holland, I actually lied about my scorecards. I had it 45-70. I had to insert that joke. Everyone was throwing that joke tonight. Man, I had it 45-70 for Kevin Holland, man. 45-70 for Kevin Holland. Anyway, back to the co-main event. Jan Błachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg. First round, razor close. Carlos Ulberg gets a unanimous decision win. First round was razor close. A lot of leg kicks. Ulberg was pulling the Alex Pereira, circling and not throwing a whole lot, but leg kicks. I thought Jan barely squeaked out the first round just because he had the harder leg kicks. There was a hard check from Ulberg, and he was doing okay with the leg kicks. Second round, I just thought Ulberg had more volume, landed more leg kicks. Jan was getting frustrated, kind of lunging in, eating some shots from Ulberg, and Jan just didn't look great lunging in, throwing these big shots that were not even coming close. Ulberg was just quick on the feet. And then the third round, I thought second round was clearly Ulberg. Third round was closer, like the first round, but I still thought Ulberg won. I mean, Ulberg was just landing good leg kicks. Jan had a couple moments. I think there was a moment in the third round where he landed a body kick and then a left hand afterwards. That might have been in the first. I'm not really sure off the top of my head. But I had the third round for Ulberg. I thought he just did a little bit more damage, landed a little bit more volume. Jan's old. He's getting slower, and his cardio isn't what it once was. I don't think Ulberg looked incredible by any means, but I thought he won this fight. I thought he kind of picked Błachowicz apart from the outside, had a smart game plan. But, man, I'm imagining Ulberg versus like an Ankalaev. I think Ankalaev smokes him. I'm imagining Yuri pressuring Ulberg. Yuri probably KOs him. So I'm not sure that I want to, like, Ulberg's calling for a title shot afterwards. I'm not sure I want to say, oh, give Ulberg a title shot next. Because I don't know if that proves here. I don't know if that proves he belongs. A Jan Błachowicz who's been out for 2 years, coming back from massive injuries and surgeries. And it was a super competitive fight. But ultimately, I did think Ulberg won. Now, if Alex Pereira ducks the rematch, there's a good chance he ducks Ank in the rematch. I would have no problem with Carlos Ulberg getting a shot because Yuri doesn't deserve a fourth title shot, okay? Rockage is not close to a title shot. I don't even know who else you would give a title shot to. So Ankalaev wants to be active. You know, he's not demanding Abu Dhabi. He's not demanding anything. He's not demanding a date. If they want to keep him active, Ulberg didn't take a whole lot of damage. Ulberg could turn around and fight in July, August, which apparently Ankalaev wants to fight in August and has already signed the contract. So I wouldn't mind that. But it's just sad, man. Jan in his prime, I'll tell you this from this fight, Jan would absolutely wreck Ulberg in his prime. But he's not in his prime anymore. He's 42. He's slumming down. He's not as good as he once was. So I don't really know what to make of this fight completely in terms of assessing Carlos Ulberg's skill set. But I thought he got it done 29-28. I believe all three judges had it 29-28 as well. I'm assuming 2 and 3 for Ulberg. Next fight on the card, the main event. Sleepy Leon versus Sean Brady. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. If you watch my live streams at all, if you watch my early predictions at all, I had Sean Brady winning this fight originally via third round submission. I was going to pick Sean Brady third round rear naked choke. It ends up being a fourth round guillotine. And my original analysis was Sean Brady has really good wrestling and pressure. He'll be able to get Leon Edwards down. If he gets him in those positions that Bilal got him in, Brady has better jiu-jitsu, so Brady could find a submission. And that was my original analysis. But then I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm doubting Leon a little bit. He had fought a lot of wrestlers, and, you know, Brady's coming in on short notice. I was worried about Brady's gas tank a little bit. Every time I switch my pick, I end up being wrong. So I'm just sticking with gut instinct from now on, unless something's really, really telling me, because I flipped it literally while I'm recording my video. I talked about it. Anyway, Sean Brady cheated a little bit in this fight, but he absolutely dominated Leon Edwards. I don't know if it was 5 a.m. I think Leon might have become accustomed to fighting at 5 a.m. because the same thing that Bilal did to him, Sean Brady was able to do to him. And maybe Leon came in with injuries. Maybe Leon came in with staph. Maybe Leon was a little bit sleepy. Maybe Leon had a tough weight cut. Maybe Dave Lavelle wasn't there to give the motivational speech he needed. But at the end of the day, Sean Brady absolutely dominated him. First round, Brady was tagging him on the feet. I knew it was over in the first round. Go watch my live stream. I knew in the first round it was over. Brady was tagging him. He followed the exact blueprint of Belal. Starts mixing in the grappling. Leon looked completely shook. Got a late takedown. Easy takedown from Brady. Maybe a little bit of control time. I don't remember exactly how much. Now, Brady was cheating, though. And nobody talked about this. But Herzog, I think, started to address it in the 4th round, but it ended up not mattering because he ended up getting the finish in the 4th round anyway. And I don't think it would have mattered anyway. Herzog was looking at Brady saying, "You ready?" And when he would look back to Leon, Brady would start crossing the cage already to get more center control, to close the distance quicker before Herzog would say, "Go fight." Now, in the 2nd round, he did that. He was already over the black line by the time Herzog said, "Come fight." He already had momentum forward and shot an easy double leg in the 2nd round, took him down and just completely mauled him. I mean, dominated him, took his back shots dead, ground and pound, had the body triangle, was just smashing Leon, punching him right on his bald spot. And literally Leon couldn't do anything. He looked defeated. He looked deflated in the 2nd round. I'm telling you, I knew 2 minutes into the 1st round. I said this in my prediction video as well. And I knew it was over. Leon looked dejected. He looked like he was fighting at 5 a.m. He looked like he was ready to check out already. Brady dominates him in the 2nd round. Absolutely dominates him. Started looking for a Kimura. There was times where Leon would try to scramble. Never even got close to getting up. 3rd round, Leon came out, landed a couple good shots. I think it was 2 good shots, maybe 1 elbow that really tagged Brady. But then gets taken out, immediately gives up his back. Back shots dead almost the entire round. Full mount to back shots dead. Brady's just absolutely mauling him, having his way with him. And, I mean, Leon had no answers. Dave Lavelle wasn't even in the cage to say, "Don't let him bully you, son. Come on, Leon. We got to pull it out of the fire, Leon. Don't let him dump you on your bald spot, Leon." Wasn't even there to give him the motivational speech. I think he was outside the cage. Leon looks dejected on the stool. I'm like, this dude wants to quit in between rounds. Bilal's tweeting, having a field day. Laughing. It must be 5 a.m. I'm thinking about all the excuses Leon made up until this point. I'm like, this dude made all these excuses, and now he's getting mauled by Sean Brady. 4th round, Brady comes out, backs him up, easy double leg. I think Leon got tired of getting beat up. Sean Brady immediately latches up a guillotine, makes Leon Edwards smack his ass in defeat. Like, "Oh, daddy, I'm done." Smacks his ass. Brady submits him in the 4th round. Man, Brady is nasty. Brady is really, really nasty. And how well does that Belal Muhammad win age? I mean, Belal went out there and bullied Sean Brady. Brady just went out there and bullied Leon Edwards. Now, I know Brady's made massive improvements, and I want to see him get one more win, potentially like fighting Shavkat, and then potentially get a title shot. Honestly, can we pull JDM from the May card? It's only March. Can we pull JDM from the May card and give Sean Brady a title shot? Because Sean Brady would maul JDM. JDM dodged a bullet pulling out of that Brady fight. But here's what I want to say. Before we get into really giving my analysis, my detailed analysis of Sean Brady, let's talk about Leon Edwards for a second. For now, 6 months, him and his coach, Dave Lavelle, have been making nothing but excuses. Whether it's the time period or he came into the fight with some niggles. That's what they call injuries, okay? This or that, or it was there was all these injuries and the timing and this and that, and he was thrown off, and his sleep specialist didn't do his job, and his bald spot, someone was supposed to, spray paint it a little bit. He made all these excuses. Belal doesn't deserve to be champion. I beat Belal 10 out of 10 times. I should have known right then and there, and that's part of the reason that I picked Leon, and I hate myself. I thought part of the reason I was picking Brady, I thought potentially I had some subconscious bias. And I thought, maybe it's because I dislike Leon. I can't stand Leon. Maybe that's why I think Brady's going to ragdoll him. And I was like, you know what? Brady really has improved it. Leon does have some good defensive grappling. Maybe there's a tinge of truth to the fact that he fought at a weird time. And, maybe Leon just had a bad night. And, Belal was just so good. And Bilal's better than Brady anyway. But Leon made all these excuses. How do you get better and fight the same stylistic matchup, essentially? A worse version of Belal. Sean Brady's a family dollar Belal. And instead of making all those excuses, you should have improved. You should have tried to improve your game. And the funniest thing about this, and I swear on my life I said this before, at UFC 296, had Colby Covington actually try to fight instead of being a beta male soy boy little bitch, he might have actually had a chance to beat Leon. Because you start ragdolling him and wearing on his energy and wearing on his stamina, he quits, man. He packs it in. And that's exactly what he did in this fight. After the 1st round, he was defeated. He was on his stool, dejected, bald spot on full display. And Brady just had his way with him. Man, Brady's nasty. I think Brady beats a lot of these guys. I don't think he beats Bilal right now. I think him and Gary would be very, very interesting. I think him and Shavkat would be very, very interesting. I might even favor Brady against Shavkat, especially considering Brady's gas tank looked unbelievable. I mean, he threw a lot of volume on the ground when he had his back. And, you know, I think Brady's right up there. They're talking about, oh, he's going to be number one. I don't think he should be ranked over Shavkat, but I think Brady's one win away from a potential title shot. Now, I know potentially Bilal, Brady 2 isn't going to be a mega fight, but Brady has improved. And if he gets another big win, he goes out there and gets another big win, you can't really deny him. I wouldn't mind seeing Brady versus Gary. I wouldn't mind seeing Brady versus Shavkat. I wouldn't mind seeing Brady versus Buckley, Brady versus Usman. But by the way, get Usman and Colby out of the rankings. Why are they still in the rankings? They don't fight. They don't win fights. I mean, I think Usman's last win's over Colby. Colby's last win's 2022 against Masvidal, if I'm not mistaken. So get them out of the rankings. I'm tired of those big guys being in the rankings. But good on Sean Brady, and I know somewhere Ariel's crying because Ariel was leading the charge on Leon Edwards' excuses. And the problem with acting like your opponent sucks and then losing to them, first off, now you suck. You made yourself look like you suck. Then you make a bunch of excuses, and then the same thing happens to you again. You excused away those deficiencies in your game. You excused away those takedowns from Bilal and that dominant top control, and look what happened. I'll tell you this right now, and I believe this for a while. Leon was a fluke champion. Head kick KO, fluke. I don't care what anyone says. It was a fluke. He was going to lose that fight. Second fight against Usman was a little bit gunshot, and I still thought it was a draw. And the only reason I think it was a draw is because Leon was grabbing the fence and cheating the whole entire time. Okay? And had he not cheated, maybe the fight had gone differently because Leon would have broke from the grappling, and Usman didn't prioritize the grappling for some reason. It's like he thought he could win on the feet, but also I think he was gunshot. Leon... Not that he's a bum by any means. That's not what I'm saying. I think he was a fluke champ. Could you imagine, we'll end on this. Could you imagine had Islam Makhachev gone up when Leon was champion, he would have had his way with him. He would have dominated Leon. So Leon, I don't know what they do from here, but he stunk up the place. He offered no resistance. If Sean Brady wanted to pull down his pants and have his way with him, Leon would have done nothing but lay there. There was one point where Sean Brady had his back and flattened him out. Back shots dead. Back shots dead. He full mounted him multiple times. Started setting up Kimuras, and you started looking for submissions throughout the fight, and Leon had nothing. Nothing. We didn't even get a good motivational speech from Dave Lavelle. He has nothing to offer against these grapplers. Usman, an old Usman who got flukily KO'd, had us believing Leon Edwards was actually a good defensive grappler. Because Colby also inflated that because Colby's a bum. And, oh, Leon stuffed takedowns from Colby. And so we thought Leon might have been good. So we were all tricked. Great win for Sean Brady. Puts him in an excellent spot in the division. One win away from a title shot, in my opinion. Would love to see Brady versus Shavkat. Would love to see Brady versus Buckley. I think Brady beats Buckley. Brady Shavkat, I'm a little bit more 50-50. Gary Brady would be an amazing fight. I'm a little bit more 50-50 on that. Maybe lean slightly Brady. But there's a lot of great matchups in the welterweight division. I'm just happy. It seems like the division is really getting moving. Loved seeing Brady just absolutely impose his will on Leon Edwards and Bilal. Having a good laugh on Twitter. Overall, UFC London was a bit disappointing. There was a lot of fights. You're like, ugh. I mean, the co-main event even was like, I didn't hate it. But on top of like the Chris Padilla, Jai Herbert fight, it made a lot. This card kind of left a bad taste in your mouth. So let me know what you guys thought of the card. Let me know what you thought of Sean Brady's dominant victory against Leon Edwards. Back shots dead, bald spot dead. And I think that's about it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.